Welcome to the only real estate podcast worth listening to, with your hosts Nick Good, Matt Kelderman, and Brian Force. Combined, they have 26 years of experience and have sold over 1,500 homes. Join them each week as they bring you everything you need to know about real estate. And now, here are your hosts, Nick, Matt, and Brian.
What's up, everyone? We have a great show today. We're going to... Do what?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Mumble shits over here, just talking over the intro.
Yeah, I mean, this was going to be the best intro I've ever done.
Nick practiced it last night.
Yeah, been how now brown cow in the mirror. I'm all ready. And so,
Unique New York.
Yeah. So amazing show today. So we're going to talk about today about how nothing's changed, but everything appears different, and why I'm
sounded so profound yesterday when we said it.
Yeah,
it's profound as our new intro that Derek brought us. Like we're a legit news organization, bringing you the facts of the day.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Why I'm acting scared. Now, we've got a great show. In the meantime, if you're watching live, we would love to get some engagement from you. Drop some questions down below. Drop an L if you're watching live. Drop an R if you're watching the replay on Facebook. And if you're on YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave us a comment on there. I mean, our YouTube is really growing. I think we've now surpassed 100 subscribers.
100 people.
Right? Can we talk about a really a profound moment I just had in my real estate career? I think just like right now in this room, because Matt and I were talking earlier about an obligation that we had tomorrow that we were supposed to go to that was recreational, that you're in fact going to.
That's right.
And I remember when I was younger in real estate, I was like, dude, I got invited to this golf tournament. I'm taking the whole day off. Like, this is just what real estate's about, dude. Just going to golf tournaments.
Lunches with lenders.
A lot of Top Golf and stuff. We both looked at our schedules, and I was like, you know we're not going to Colonial tomorrow, right? He was like, yeah, I know. And I was like, why do we keep agreeing to stuff? Like, and I think that's a profound moment, because I was like, I remember a time when I couldn't wait to get invited to something. Now I'm like we're supposed to go to a top producers thing right after this, and I was like, dude, I'm probably just gonna go home after the podcast. I'm too tired.
Going home. I gotta go show a HUD home.
It's gonna be 4:00.
Nice.
I gotta go show a HUD home, and then I gotta go out to way out in Leonard, Texas tomorrow to meet with a seller. So right after the golf tournament.
You gotta watch out for those snakes, bro.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We're gonna be out in Royce City.
Speaking of the snakes,
that is Chauncey guessed that's what I was scared of, and she is correct. I am deathly afraid of snakes, like Indiana Jones, right? And there was a snake in our house this past weekend.
You live in a regular ass neighborhood. What is happening?
There's snakes in Stonebridge.
What in the world?
Yeah.
What a terrible way to die. I want to know what the statistics are on like snake bite deaths in regular residential neighborhoods every year.
Like just like south of 635.
Yeah, I just mean like in the country, that's not the order. If you died of a snake bite out in the country, people would be like, that's super sad, that's too bad. But you would understand. If you lived on like, Main Street in your regular residential neighborhood, 0 lot lines, and a cobra bit your face off.
I'm blaming my neighbor, because that cobra is not native to my neighborhood.
Everybody at your funeral would be like really sad, but also just like, how the fuck did this happen?
Right.
Like, there'd be so much bemusement about it.
I'm going to tell you that I'll have Heather drop a photo down below. Heather, if you're listening and watching right now, go ahead and drop a photo of that snake. Because this snake looks huge, right? And in reality, it was a little baby. We're going to call it a copperhead, which
like
is poisonous.
Perspective.
Yeah. It is poisonous. But the photo, it's all about that angle, right?
Exactly. It's just, you put it next to Asher's table and chairs, so it looks like it's twice as big.
That's right.
Jeez.
So I got a broom and swept it out, and then because we thought it, and it probably was, we'll see if people know what this snake is. Copperhead, we went ahead and chopped its head off.
I would like to
because I didn't want to come back and wait for me.
I would like to. Kelly, if our social media person, Kelly, can you put a poll on our group right now that says if a villain of any sort can be defeated with a broom, is it worth being afraid of? I think we're going to have an overwhelming no.
I didn't know where he was going with that. It worked out all right.
So that's the end of the show. That's what you found out what I'm afraid of. Thank you for watching.
This is not even what we're actually talking about, but it's awesome.
So what our topic is today is when we meet the day before to review the podcast show topic, I started not complaining, but I was reviewing our numbers, right? Again, look at our numbers all the time, but I did not review this specific one. And since 2009, I've been known for our bread and butter being expired listings. And this year, we've closed 7 expired listings, which is dog shit, right? 4 of those has come from one of our callers, who this guy's been with us since 2009. We have a great ROI off of him, or we did, and it's kind of fallen. And what my concern is we're seeing less, we're having a dip in the number of listings that we're taking, right? And I know that we've talked previously about our at-bats getting limited and numbered. And so one of the questions I was asking you guys is, what can we do, when one of your bread and butter sources kind of starts to erode away, and you're doing everything you can, because our contact rate has fallen from that 8 to 12% on expires to hovering right around 4%.
Yep.
So theoretically, if you go just right off the numbers, then we're going to have to make double the amount of calls in any given time period in order to get back up to the number of appointments we were used to setting for expired listings.
Yep.
And so, is this the new norm that we're facing, or is there a way that we can attack it a different way to get those listings coming back in? And is our business as a whole starting to change?
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing to keep in mind is, like, expireds in general, just sales in general. We'll focus just on expireds. Expireds are a zero-sum game, meaning, like, there are not less listings expiring right now.
There's more.
Yeah, there's actually more. So you're not down right now because you have less chances, right? Somebody's getting those listings, right? It's just the communication channels have obviously changed. If calling doesn't work now, but more homes are expiring, somebody's getting those listings, right? Meaning, if it's a zero-sum game, somebody's numbers are up, right? Somebody who's doing something else, their numbers are up, right? Because the people whose listings are expiring, they're still in the exact same situation. They were on the market for 6 months, let's say prototypical listing. They're on the market for 6 months, they're disappointed with their agent, they're looking for a change, right? Those 3 components. And right now, they're not picking up the phone as much, but they're still probably going with another agent. If it's a zero-sum game, how is that agent getting to them, and why are some agents' expired numbers have to be up if yours are down, right? And so it's figuring out what is that communication channel that this niche specifically is responding to now, and then hammering that.
And that's a great question. That we looked at, and how this question came up is we were looking at, direct mail companies to look at expired mailings that we could put on an automated sequence campaign. And unfortunately, there's no mailing company out there right now that I found would actually do it.
If somebody knows, let us know.
Yeah, because Jason Northcutt, shout out to him. Gave me a great contact. There's not enough volume in it for them to do that. And so we were looking at, all right, how do we get back in front of them? Is that text messages? Is that slide dialing? Is that is there tasking our team members to do the direct mail themselves? But what happens if they're out sick or they miss a day, et cetera? And now you fall completely behind on how that system should run to get that business back up.
Yep.
I think there's a couple of factors jumping in too that are a little bit different. I think people are calling aggressively early. Right. Like, I think there are agents out there who are straight up breaking the rules and twisting people off, and they're shutting their phone down by 8 a.m., right? So I think there's a little bit of that going on. I think there's a natural revulsion to sales calls right now because they're just inundated. My voicemail right now is actively full, but I can't see any of them because it's all the blocked messages that just get dumped into my inbox, right? So I don't even see half of them after I block the numbers. And then I think there's some competent agents who were getting listings and buyers falling in their lap because the market was hot, and now that it's leveled out a little bit or evened off, there's probably some of those agents who are diving back into expireds because they have to. So I do think some at-bats are getting stolen by competent agents, not just brand new agents being trained to call expireds, like good agents jumping back in for that extra business too.
But I mean, if people aren't answering their phones as much, what I think is pretty indicative of the times that we're in. I mean, I certainly don't if I don't know the number, right? We just got an offer on a listing, or about to get an offer, and the number called me as the agent that was going to make the offer, and I just looked at my phone and I was like, sort of looks familiar, but I hope it leaves a voicemail. Like that's my first thought, right? You just gotta, like, I think that one of the things you really need to do is just, like, take an inventory of your own life and your own awareness of things, right? Like, how do you prefer to be communicated with, or how do the best companies out there communicate with you, right? Like, we sort of just get tunnel vision when it comes to real estate. We call, we door knock, we mail, we network, we call our sphere, right? Like, and that's the only way to do stuff. Like, I am telling you, and this is, if I'm being a homer, then that's just because I believe in what we do. I will say that is one of the reasons that if you do not have a foundation for your business, probably need to join a team, because we get a whole lot more latitude to be creative with what we do.
And we did bring that up yesterday. It's like, hell, if I'm an individual agent right now, I don't have enough time in the day and or enough resources to try to solve this problem, and then also try to get referrals, and then also send out an email, send out text messages, etc. I don't have enough time in the day in order to build this effectively.
100%.
When I started in 06, 07, expired listing, there were a few of us calling, and then that's built up, and people were still answering their phone at the time. Now with everything going on, like whatever the Leonis or whatever that
Sierra Leone.
He's not once gotten that right.
I've never.
We got Sierra Leone, calling issue. People aren't answering from that.
Yep.
I just found out today, so this is breaking news. So Derek, you can drop that breaking news audio clip.
Do you have one? Can you do drops?
Oh no, he's shaking his head no. But we'll get that request.
We gotta give him way more heads up.
Yeah.
It'd be like the ticket.
Next episode, we'd be like, at some moment during this episode, Derek, we're gonna drop a breaking news.
Just a random
need you to be
Boeing.
ready.
Well, we need to do it like the ticket, where you can just start adding. We can get Derek, the producer, in here and just start doing drops left and right.
100%, 100%.
But there is the breaking news that within Facebook world that they're going to do away, or you're going to start paying for doing messenger broadcasts.
Yep.
And so, that's something that now we have to evolve on that, because we were doing a lot of Facebook Messenger drops because it was free.
Yep.
And people were reading that. Like I know, Chauncey in the group, we were talking about, I asked a question when I was networked with an agent yesterday that said, email marketing is dead.
Yeah.
I said, it is? Because I read my email every day. And I sign up for lists and I check that stuff. And so there are some people that says it is. There's some people that says it's not.
I will say this, and I think Chauncey made a very fair point there, because what I hate is when people say email marketing is dead because it doesn't work or whatever, right? She actually had, a solution as this is what I do, this is what's working effectively, so on and so forth. I'll tell you this, email marketing will never die completely because it's visual. We respond to different visual stimuli. Email marketing will never die in the same way that movies will never die. They will change though. Right? If you just released every hit movie from 1956 right now in 2019, no one would go to the movie theater.
Yeah.
Right? And that's by design. And that's just human beings evolve, right? We we have this kind of groupthink mentality where we all sort of enjoy and like and are stimulated by some sort of similarities in what we respond to visually, right? So a lot of email templates or a lot of mass emails and things like that from all different industries will look relatively similar. They'll be patternistic. People that will wear on people after a while, the same way that sales scripts wear on people after a while, right? Email marketing will adapt, right? There are still people out there that are getting massive open rates with email marketing right now. They're just better at it than the rest of us. They're the pioneers of, like, they're the ones that are the whoever's a good director, right, of this era of email marketing, right? So it won't ever die completely.
And you do a good job at email marketing. So
I certainly tried it, but I will say I'm at least certainly aware of the evolution of it. Yeah. I just know you can't just put some email shit out there with no thought into it whatsoever, like most people do, and expect it to continue to work forever.
The auto email campaigns are dead. That's what I think it is, right? No one reads that shit.
Yeah.
So, if you would like to actually see what this is going to be a little sales pitch, but if you would like to see the type of emails that we do for this podcast show, drop your email down below. We'll go ahead and add it because, that's Brian running that email. You can kind of see how he's structuring it, his headlines, et cetera, and what it looks like. So drop your email down below if you're interested in that, or you can send us a message. And also join the only real estate Facebook group worth being a part of.
Dope-ass contest going on right
now.
We
you can win some good shit right now.
Yeah. And the contest is for adding real estate industry folks.
Yeah.
So loan officers, real estate agents. And so we've got a cool contest running until the third week of June.
Yep.
So if you're listening to this on iTunes and it's after June, the contest is over.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, exactly.
Leave us a review.
The other crazy thing is we're in a weird space with like how technology is infiltrating different age groups too. right? So because I think all of them can work with certain people. I would prefer text message. I'm 40, so I'm in that in between range of like people who'd rather have a phone call or whatever.
Right.
The thing that I find interesting is because of sending through Boomtown specifically, we were talking yesterday, you can send 200 bulk text messages. My response rate to that is all over the place, right? Get a ton of eat shit. You get a whole lot of no thanks, we're not interested. You get a lot of people being really polite. And out of that, you get 3 or 4 people who are interested in talking a little bit more. Yep. The exact same amount of people when I call a crap load, and the exact same amount of people who pretty much respond to emails, right? So I think doing all of it in tandem, and where agents screw up is they get too chicken shit to pick up the phone, so they ignore that part. They don't have the funds or the time to put together any kind of coherent action plan from a follow-up standpoint, so they fall apart on leads that way. And that's where they end up dying. I don't think it's so much like picking which one might be better. It's probably hitting with all 3 at an effective and systematized level, which I know the show always rolls back around to follow up, which is so fucking irritating.
Follow-up or mindset.
Yeah, follow-up or mindset. But it really is, and I think that's probably one of the things, specifically right now, text is crushing just through the CRM because we can send out so many.
I think
we hit so many people at a time with text messages.
It's such a good point, though, about things working, the conversion rate and stuff like that. Like, I do want to say that I think a lot of us really measure the wrong things. It's really actually hard to track your business very, very, very well. And what I mean by that is tracking where your actual dollars and cents comes from. Because if you're talking about, I use Facebook Messenger and I get a 100% open rate, whereas emails only get a 10% open rate, right? Totally understandable. I get that. More people open up Messenger because it's basically automatic. You're going to get a notification, right? Then open up an email. Where do your deals come from? And then those deals, do they turn into referral sources? And then what are they worth? What's your lifetime value of a client? So on and so forth. Those are much harder things to track, right? And so when we're talking about, things are working and things aren't working, like, what does working really mean, right? On Facebook ads, we're lucky to have a 2% conversion rate on those. You know what? That's super, super, super good in my eyes, right? Because we pay less than like $4 a lead on average for a Facebook lead. So if I'm converting 1 out of every 50, that means it only cost me $2,000. Is that right? $200. Wow,
$1
that's
million.
even better. $200 to get a closed buyer client. That's fucking unreal, right? Yeah. But we're failing 98% of the time. So it's like, what really is working? What metric are you measuring that's saying this works or this doesn't work, right? And so I don't know that conversion rates or open rates or whatever are the best way to track what's working. It's what puts dollars and cents in your pocket, and understand that we're working in an industry where we have a real low conversion rate on pretty much everything, and we don't need to have more than that.
Well, I think there's starting to be a bleed over effect, right? So, and what I mean by that is, before, if you were, advertising on radio and television, it's harder to measure that, because you could be online or you could be sending direct mail, and then all of a sudden they hear your radio or television ad and they're calling you, and they don't know which source.
Right.
They don't know how they heard of you, and they're calling you. They're just saying you're everywhere.
Yeah.
And online or expireds, we could really dial down and say, all right, this came from an expired from a phone call, or this came from an email. And I believe that we're starting to get to that bleed over effect, that we have to be on so many different marketing channels that they don't know where we're hitting them now. And that takes a lot of time and energy. And what scares me is that, one, if I'm brand new, a lot of the stuff that we say that we did in the beginning, right, honestly is not going to pay them.
Yeah.
Today.
Oh, it's not. And I mean, it's dude, it's going to be like, it's going to be intimidating for a new agent. If I'm a new agent, like when I was a new agent, I could just go door knock all these expireds. I could tell a new agent now, that's great, but guess what I could do, right? I can make sure that every single person who comes off the MLS sees me in their Facebook news feed the day they come off the MLS. And then if they click on my ad, they get a copy of my marketing plan and an automated text message from me within 5 seconds, right? You can't do that. And then you'll see me for the rest of your life until you and I have your phone number, your address, email. So I'm going to have somebody else door knock, but you're already going to know who I am, right? Before I even send somebody to your door, and you're going to get a piece of mail from me. And I'm just going to haunt your dreams.
Yeah. And right. What scares me even more from my business perspective is that, with seeing one of our bread and butter lead sources erode away, and we're trying to rebuild it back up with these crumbling blocks. It's like, all right, how do we adapt quick enough to continue making that one of our top 3 lead sources?
Yeah.
And maybe that does go away, and we have to be okay with that. But I used to wear that as a badge of honor.
Yeah.
Right. That was a badge of, like,
I've heard you say it at the office.
Dude, I fucking slayed at expired listings. That's what I'm good at. And now we have to adapt to whatever that new marketing channel is. And it's tough, right?
Yeah.
Because being a prospector, Brian and I've said it before, like all of our shit could go away. We could just pound the phones or door knock. I'm not going to door knock, you can, but we're going to pound the phones and hit it, and we'll be able to get our business back up to 100,000. But if you have, if you're door knocking 1,000 homes and you have 10 people that answer, I mean,
it's just real estate is becoming a true thinking man's game now. It's not just, you can't just pound the pavement the way that you could before.
And I think this is the change they're talking about, not the iBuyers coming and disrupting it. That's a little bit, the technology companies. It's that the bombardment of messages, people are just retracting. And now you've got to really dial that sphere or referral-based business in. And if you don't have a sphere, then you're going to have to call a door knock, and
exactly.
It's going to be it's going to be tough.
That's a societal problem too, though, man. Like we're all like we're so inundated with information, it causes you just to stand there. You get paralyzed by pressure, right? You're like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, but I don't know what I'm going to do. And then you come into the office a whole bunch of weeks in a row and you don't make shit, and your mind is not prepared for a 40-hour work week that doesn't end in a paycheck.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's just all of these things that I think that don't have anything to do with your age. It's just a weird industry to try to get into. I'll tell you guys, like every time we talk about mailing, and I know there's agents on here thinking about that, I'm like, such a fucking waste of time. I've done like 2 mailers in my life, and they're total garbage, and I know that's why they were garbage, because I didn't stick with them. But the cost of it for me has always been the part of it I could never justify.
Yeah.
Right? Like the other stuff was just more affordable. I mean, I didn't do those as consistently as I should have either, but I at least had a chance in those. I was never going to go into a neighborhood that Nick was marketing in and take any share from him at all. Right? So mail was always weird to me. I never introduced that into my business at all, except for thank you cards.
But I mean, and it's a good point, because this is something that the individual agent is most likely going to struggle with as well. Mailers work as part of a comprehensive, multi-layered, multi-channel marketing.
Don't just
plan,
mail people shit.
But it's expensive to do, and you've got to really be in it for the long run. You've got to understand what your return on investment is going to be, right? Like I struggled with mailers for a long time until I figured out I've got to layer it with other stuff. And I mean, that idea of just being able to write a check and see a bunch of leads come in, it doesn't really work anymore. That's why I say it's a thinking man's game. Like, what do iBuyers do better than anybody else? What does Open Door do as good or better than anybody else? Their value propositions are not better. They're better marketers.
Yeah.
They're just, people know about them.
Yeah, and that is where the industry is headed, though it's going to be crowded, right? So becoming that local celebrity, which is why, one, full transparency, we do this podcast show.
Yeah.
You guys know who we are.
Yeah. And two, why go to my YouTube? Go to find me on YouTube. It's under the Good Home, not the Good Home Team. Get rid of the, and you can do it. You can find me there. And it's taken me forever to get to break that 100 subscriber mark, but consistently putting out videos and then figuring out what to do with them, so that becoming that online celebrity and authoritative level that then people start reaching out to. That is the direction I think it's headed into, while we still have that sliver of prospecting left. Maybe it's like wallpaper. Maybe it will come back in, in 3 years we're killing it again on the phones, because everyone's answering their phone again, because they're tired of text messages or Facebook messages or whatever. But for now, we've got to pivot in a way that still continues building our business, or we're fighting over table scraps.
Exactly.
I like that you bring up the video aspect of it too, because agents like Jonathan Cook does a great job with that. Casella and Chasen have both been on this show talking about how they did it. They literally just started recording themselves, struggling through stuff at the beginning. Their whole journey. You go and watch Casella's largest watch videos when he went to the Fast and Furious house, but a lot of his highest watch videos are from when he was a newer agent, and he was giving that like new agent type of advice, that shit to get you through that first 6 months or a year, the real realistic stuff. We recommended to our agents, right? Start doing that. Literally just take out your stinking phone and record yourself throughout your day. Find somebody on Fiverr for $25 to put it together. It does not have to be super high quality. What it does is it's a time thing. And I just think at the end of the day that it takes a long time for an agent to have the kind of knowledge they need to have to sound competent and get in front of a camera and do it at the same time, right? And then you need to be able to do that for 2 years to build up that online presence.
And like the big drawback for people there is that, like with everything else up to that point, like people obviously inherently reject failure. They don't like feeling stupid or out of place or feeling like they're not doing a good job, right? Like that's why a lot of people struggle to cold call, right? That's why a lot of people struggle to door knock and stuff like that. Even those failures, when you suck at expires or you just, like the things you're afraid of, you're failing in private still, right? And so that's why a lot of people enough people can get over it and stomach that. With the video, if you don't feel like you're good at it, now you're failing in public.
Yeah.
And I think that's because people's biggest hang up to doing a lot of consistent video content. It's like, this just doesn't look good. I look stupid.
If you think
whatever.
that I'm not worried about saying the wrong shit on this show out there, like there's a unique form of accountability that comes with the crap you say on live Facebook.
It's so funny, right?
And it's like, I'm always after every show, I'm like, dude, did I say something that's going to get my ass in trouble in the last 45 minutes?
Dude, I mean, when we first started doing this podcast and stuff, like all three of us were so nervous coming into it. Like I swear
time.
my heart was going 1,000 miles. Now, honestly, it's like 2:30 on a Wednesday. I'm like, we gotta do a show right now. Man, I'm so sick of this, dude. What month is it? We committed to a year? I'm out of here, guys.
Brian's already done
But
it.
the fear of it's just sounding ridiculous on video is the coming off as not being knowledgeable or not being able to clearly get your point across.
Right.
Which there's many times. I think I even did one in the group, live in the group the other day. I'm like, I kind of lost track of where I was going with this, and I'm just sitting and staring at the camera, like, all right, but it happens. Who cares?
Yeah.
Right? Because look, if you consistently put out content. Hell, we had Arthur signed a listing last night, and it was a lady. I sold her flip, one of her flips, one of her first ever, back in 2016, and she didn't. Honestly, I didn't continue marketing to her, like calling her or anything else. She's in our system. She gets our emails, etc. She called up. Today's Wednesday. She called up on Monday afternoon saying, "Hey, I want Nick to come out and look at my other flip in Plano. My other agent's not doing their job."
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
4 days on the market or whatever, she already fired that agent.
Jeez.
And then Arthur goes out there, lay down opportunity, just signs, no fight or anything. And that's because of the consistent content being pushed out, right? And so, you have to, unfortunately, just have to do it.
Yeah.
And regardless of how idiotic you think you sound, there's someone that's probably going to like you, hopefully.
And you'll get better at it, dude. It's just
You'll get better at it, and there's some mental work that needs to happen, right? I think, and this is going to be harsh, but it's the reality. You need to get over yourself. You're not that cool. Like that. I mean, and I mean that in the nicest way. I tell, and you're right. And the only reason I get to still act this cool is because I've accepted that I'm not. I'm the most, outside of this podcast, people that know me know I'm the most self-deprecating person on earth. Like I just have so much fun making fun of myself. But that's what's allowed me to do more stuff like this and be comfortable. Because one of the big, we have a really hard time inherently or subconsciously just like not looking cool. Like we just hate looking awkward or weird. I did a 25-minute book review on our group on Monday, which watch next Monday for I think I haven't decided.
I like the dedication to the book thing.
I haven't decided what book we're going to do.
I'm not dedicated.
It's his thing, man.
But anyway, dude, I said the word cognizant wrong like 18 times in a row, and I didn't realize it until I watched it again. I was like, I look so fucking stupid right now. Like I have a degree in how to say words, and I am just messing this one up.
Your dad clowned you earlier in the comment section for not being a math major.
Yeah, obvious enough. But I that's something that a few years ago would have bothered me.
Yeah.
Like really badly, right? And you just get over it after a while. Like you've got to realize, and part of it, like this is a little existential. Part of it is realizing like the universe is pretty damn big. Nothing you do matters. You'll be dead in 150 years. Like make some damn Facebook videos.
If I
Like
lived to
just
be
don't.
150, I'm gonna be pissed. Brian, give me another 150.
Let me ask you this question, and then everyone that's watching this, whether you're watching the replay or watching it live, go ahead and answer this in the comment below because I want to see how people answer this. So your not your number one. Number one is past clients and Sphere for us, but your top lead source. Let's say it's expires. Let's say it's Sphere, right? Let's say that you notice a decline over the last 3 years. And the number of transactions and the amount of GCI that you're making it, from that one particular source. And that's one of your bread and butters. That's what you pride yourself on. What do you do?
Sphere, if I lost my Sphere, I'd be in trouble.
Yeah.
Like because for me, it's number one by a long ways, right? Referrals and Sphere is more than half of my personal business. So, I mean, I have the ability to hop on the phones, and I think calling people and texting people is the same thing. For me, I have to be in front of people. So the video stuff is huge right now. I haven't been doing enough of it. I'd be screwed if my Sphere and referral type business went away.
So let's say that it starts not even going away; it starts eroding away.
Yeah.
So what do you implement, Brian? Like, all right, let's say from us, Sphere is number one,
Yeah.
but let's say it's not Sphere, because that obviously, if it's Sphere goes away, that means we're doing a piss poor job of servicing them.
Yep.
So let's say that doesn't go away, but you're looking to bring on that second or third lead source, or that that is a great it's a great income source. So let's say it's expired, for sale by owners. Let's
Gabby's
say it's open
crushing it
house
with Fizbo right now.
right? So let's say it's that. What do you do?
Like, you have to decide which school of thought you want to believe. Do you want to believe the school of thought that says that entire sector of the market is shrinking, or do you want to believe the school of thought that's that says that they prefer to be communicated with differently now, right? I would contend, and like I said before, there are not fewer expireds out there, right? So that sector of the market that segment of the market is not shrinking. How they're being communicated with is obviously changing, right? And so, yeah, if it's, I would always take that second school of thought, right? A lot of people, if they would see that statistic, they say, "Oh, we're losing expireds, this, that. What's the next thing we need to go after now?" I think that's dumb. Why would you try and reinvent your whole business? What you need to do is go, what is our message and how are we getting it out there? Especially if it's something you've had a lot of past success in, like expired, because people who have expired want to know that the person that they're going to work with next has done this before and given somebody different results. So you can leverage that past success. You just have to find a different way to get your message out there, right? And so that's where I said, like, running a larger business or treating your business like a business, even if you're an individual agent, is really, really, really important, because this is where you need to put your creative hat on. This is where you need to put your research hat on. This is where you need to put your learning cap on and go, who is doing this either in this industry or another industry at a very high level, and how do I model what they're doing to reach my target audience with my message now in a way that I haven't before. I read so many marketing blogs, journals, articles, books, whatever, from people that have no connection to real estate whatsoever, and I learn a lot from them. And that's where we've developed a lot of our marketing strategies, because at the end of the day, we're all just human beings. We all want to be communicated with in similar ways, no matter what we're selling. So it's taking that second school of thought and going, how do I get my message out there now?
Yeah. Well, and it's funny you bring that up of researching the outside markets, and Brian and I, you talked about this yesterday. We both bought Billy Jean's birthday special for $31. You can buy like all his previous courses, and Billy Jean is this amazing online marketer, right? So it's really breaking down YouTube marketing, making videos that people want to watch. Like, you can go watch some of mine. I think they're boring. They're educational. But, it was a start. Now it's like, how do I incorporate my personality in there? Because my personality is like, I like to cuss. Can I just say fuck on there? Would that turn off some majority of people, or would I still retain enough in there? Right? Can I talk a little bit of shit of hiring the wrong agents? Right? I want to know, how far I can take it that it will still get the return on there. And so, looking at Billy Jean's stuff, there's a overload of information. But I will tell you, I'm no longer just studying what's going on real estate wise. I said I'm back working in this business harder than ever, and it's more diving into that marketing of attraction based. Videos first. All right, we have our Facebook guy, but how can I even get better on Facebook? How do I then build out these funnels? And without using the cliche, that buzzword of 2017-18 of the building funnels, but building the right sequence so that if it's like a bad STD. Right.
Just keep showing back up.
It's showing back up when you don't want it, and then all of a sudden my face pops up for real estate related products, right?
Exactly.
So that's the thing, is like, that's where I think it's going. You can agree or disagree with me.
I just don't, like, again, I think you guys, from a marketing perspective, you guys are going to knock it out of the park when it comes to figuring out the sequence. I think the video, the content, the ad copy, that's a ton of it. Being vulnerable. I don't know if you want to get like a East Coast West Coast battle going with some other real estate agent, right? Like,
actually, that'd be a great
idea.
The
thing is, people would watch that crazy shit. You might run off some clients and some recruits, right? But there's also people to you who are going to be so down for Nick Good and whatever clique he's rolling with, right? Like, there might be something to that depending on who your target audience is too, right?
So message me whoever I can start a beef with.
Let's start shit with Nick right now. We got a few people watching. Let's see.
Post your best insult to Nick in the comments.
Let's not do that. That hurts. My armor's not up. But that's. I agree with you. I mean, there's so many different ways we could take this, and with this industry, that's where I think the change in the industry is going. It's all right. We have to adapt the way technology adapts so quick. 1 minute we're on, all right, door knocking's working, and next minute, 2 weeks later, it's not, and you're like, holy shit, what do I do?
Yeah.
And being able to pivot.
I think that's something to really think about when we're talking about, and it's for everybody, the individual all the way up to the major mega team. People don't want to wait for your message anymore. And I think that's a really fundamental shift that we need to make in the way that we market ourselves. I'll just give you a baseline example, right? Like we have a badass, what I think is badass, 25, 28 page marketing plan or whatever, just lays out everything that we're going to do, right, to sell your home. That used to be strict. Wow, that was good.
That was a good one.
I'm sure they caught that on the mic. Nick just snapped his own head off. There used to be and that used to be strictly reserved for prospects that I've already had a conversation with you. I'm either the first time you're seeing is in person at the appointment, or we're setting an appointment and I'm sending to you in advance to review, right? And honestly, I don't even know why we did that. But for the longest time, nobody in real estate was giving that information up right away. Literally now, I'm forcefully sending it to people, shoving it down your throat.
Asking them if they want it.
Yeah, before you even know who I am. Because
you want my marketing plan?
Yeah, I'm just like, here, I'm coming over. Here it is on your phone. Here's a PDF that I'm going to text to you, right? Like, we're just trying so much harder to get our message out there ahead of time, rather than, because people used to say that. People used to be like, don't give your value away up front. And, that's fine, but that's back when people were willing to give you their information without getting value. Because that's how it was back then. Like, I'd come to a landing page. It was an understanding that I had to put all my information in before I got a piece of value. That is just not it anymore, dude. Yeah. I could pay $14 a month and have every song ever written. Like, people want value at a very low price or completely free, right? And so if the consumer's expectations have changed, we need to change our approach. I am shoving my marketing plan down your throat right now, and all my team stats and every piece of information that I think might get you to take a second look and go, this guy might be worth sitting down with. I am volunteering up front and forcing you, if I can, to read it, rather than trying to draw you in and get everything about you before I give you that message. So I think that's a fundamental sort of shift that everybody needs to make in their marketing message.
I think the other thing that you run into too is that people end up like, you're now good enough. Like when I was early in my career, I didn't want to give away the marketing plan that I probably stole from somebody else because I wasn't good enough. Yeah. I wasn't anything other than this like fake ass marketing plan that I went into a listing appointment and tried to talk up. Now you can take my listing plan and go to a listing appointment against me, right? Like I don't lose a lot of listings unless it's Elizabeth. But for the most part, I don't lose. It's not about the. I'll be honest with you guys. I rarely open up the folder of shit I take into a listing appointment. Yeah. I open it up to answer a question or overcome an objection, but I don't need to sit down with a listing presentation to present my ability to sell your house anymore.
And honestly, that's the secret sauce of how we get listings, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone thinks, oh, you have a real estate license, all agents are created equal. That's like saying every doctor that went to medical school is all the same. No, it's not. Or every attorney that graduated, has a law degree is the best way to represent you. No, you're hiring me or my team based on the experience that I've had over thousands of transactions, over multiple hundreds of personal investment properties that I've owned and sold or still keep today. Mm-hmm. So you're hiring us based on our experience to solve problems that may not come up.
Yep.
But if they do, you want me on your side.
100%.
Versus the new agent who's going to do it for a lot less. And guess what? When that problem comes up, they're not going to know what to do.
Yep. No. That's how I overcome discount brokers or agents who are willing to discount. Look, man, if this transition goes smooth as hell and you get this under contract in 2 days and the inspection is fine and the appraisal is fine, you don't need me. Right? You don't. You should go with the cheapest person. But if any of that shit starts getting sideways and there's a deal to be saved, you are in trouble.
Yep.
Right? You're paying for peace of mind. Right, you're paying for me to come in and literally hopefully take everything off your plate. Can't calm your normal anxiety, but I can come in and do what we need to do to keep you from freaking out.
But you have a dealer for that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I got a guy.
Well, and honestly, like those are the clients that you want to work with, and I fundamentally believe that they're still out there too. Like I just don't buy. At least not right now. I think maybe 5 years, 10 years from now, that's something that I've even said in the past. The real estate agent is probably going to be working for less. I don't believe that it's happened yet. And I know that Matt's the same way, I just don't think that we get nearly the amount of commission arguments or discount commission questions as most agents do. And I honestly just think that's just our ability to convey our message and what we do. Like, I just do not have people that ask me to take listings for less than 6%. Unless I'm selling them another house, I just don't I don't get that a lot. And if I do, I squash it real fast, and I've never had an issue with it.
When we face it, it's more on the expired listings, right? I mean, you've got people to get their value in the door, they're dropping their pants right away.
Yep.
Like, basically, I ran a joke back in the, this was years ago when I was competing with there's someone else that used to be in our office that did expires at a high level. I was like, what, screw it. I'm gonna call up and offer to pay someone $1,000 to put my sign in the yard and sign with me, and then I'm just gonna litter the place, having an upfront investment of whatever thousands, so I can then dominate the listing market, then take the buy side.
Right.
And that was kind of the plan.
That agent stole your idea.
I was going to say, right? I know people doing that.
Yeah. Now people are buying it left and right.
Yeah.
Right now, Open Door and the iBuyer programs.
Yep.
I've been doing that before. I was making fun of that before it was even there.
Before it was even mainstream.
So that, it's the way I see it is we've just got to stay consistent, because I'm not going to drop the calls. Like, that would be freaking crazy. I mean, it's the return is not where we want it to be, but we do, something that when I went live in our Facebook group I talked about is we stop way too soon.
Yeah.
And when you go look at it, it's like that picture out there that you got two dudes, picking dirt and trying to get to the gold or the diamonds or whatever it is, and that one dude gives up and is like that far away from hitting it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? And so I feel at times like, all right, when's the best time? When is the time actually to throw in the towel?
Right.
Tomorrow.
And do something else? No, because then you're going to start calling my expires. So I'm competitive on that. So actually, I'm going to triple down on all the calls.
Yeah, right.
Hire all the ISAs. But that's the thing is like, all right, when do you give it up?
Yeah.
So that's, I want to see some people dropping in the comments. I want to see what their solution would be if they're, other than Sphere and or past clients, one of their top income sources started eroding away. What do they do in order to fix it? Whether that's expires, for sale banners, open houses, etc.
Yep.
And I'd love to see that.
Well, and if you're interested in getting into that too, because like for years I didn't do it. I'm one of those agents who started doing it because the natural business I had was dropping off, and I needed to find other sources of listings or start taking more listings like 2 years ago. So I'm one of those agents. But if you're looking to get into it, man, like message us or hit us up, because we can hook you up. We can show you exactly what we do from the standpoint of who we use, the dialer that we use, all of that stuff to get you set up on it. And then you can give it a try, because here's the thing about expires that I do believe. I think there's very few agents doing it at a high level. There's a lot of agents in there just gumming up the works. And I think they're just pissing people off by asking the same stupid-ass questions. And while I don't see a huge benefit to training up all the agents, I think it's very similar to the thing you told me when I joined Keller Williams. You either have the mentality to do expireds or you don't. It's not about what you say most of the time. There's a lot of the right stuff to ask and certain ways to take the conversation. But a lot of agents, I think, are just scared of it in general because they think there's some specific way to approach them. And there's not. You just got to figure out what happened, and can you help them, right?
You can be better than other agents at it, but all three of us are living proof, either through ourselves or through our agents, that you can sometimes take a listing and you get off the phone, and I was listening to your conversation, and I'm questioning whether or not you even speak English. It was just the most dog shit conversation. But somehow you set the appointment, and we got the listing. Like, I've seen that happen so many times.
We went on one last week that I thought for sure we lost, right? Like, I thought we were just tripping and falling like a blind person through the whole thing. And we called her. She's like, no, actually, you're at the top of our list. We're just trying to figure out if it makes sense for us. And I'm like, I thought I was making a phone call to, like, clean up a train wreck.
Exactly.
And you thought we were amazing.
But the thing about it is you probably sent some type of follow-up message with it, or it's the appointment will help sell it, but it's the after process.
We leave that marketing plan behind too, that hard copy. And I tell you, I swear to God, if you haven't put time into really putting a unique piece of marketing together that shows exactly what you do, it helps you stand out by far. It really does.
Yeah.
Well, as we're wrapping it up here, drop in the comments down below. Leave us some questions. Type L if you're watching live, type R if you're watching the replay. And I know you want to. If you're listening to this and you're not part of our group, I know you want to be a part of it.
Yeah, if there's not already a link in the comments, somebody post a link in the comments to the group, Kelly. Join the group because you can win some stuff.
It goes down in the group.
It does. I mean, and we're asking questions.
Real dirty.
Yeah, we're asking questions, business building questions in there. Like, again, I got the connection for the direct mail contact in there.
Yep.
We're going live in there. And then we've got some cool plans that we're building out.
Yep.
With that, I mean, I was just talking to our Facebook guy today. He's coming up with some master classes to be able to offer to our group members that will break down different type of Facebook ads on a granular level and teach you how to run it the right way, whether it's a foreclosure ad, no money down ad, etc. So we're excited to be able to share that. And then also, something's coming up in September that we still need to promote a better job of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
The WGR Academy in Dallas. So when we talk about leaving y'all's email address, Kelly just posted that link too. But leave your email address in the comments, or we'll post another link maybe on the page to the actual event to get on the wait list. Yep. Like, here's the craziest thing about this. When we initially were like, hey, we'd like to be a part of this, whatever, it was like we're like day 2, like breakaway session or whatever. And now as Colton has, like, the word about this has gotten out, you've had people reach out to you like, hey, you guys are a part of that. And then he's adding more people. Yep. Like, this is turning out to be a ridiculously badass event with like legit people doing some real business and crushing it on social media.
There's already 400 people on the wait list. So get on, sign up for the wait list, and the reason why you want on this wait list, they're selling tickets. Yep. Once it goes live and we start officially selling tickets, we don't get any money from this.
Yeah, this is not.
This is something that. Oh no, I'm just kidding. Damn it, you're a better negotiator. But getting on that wait list will help you get in early, but we're also, all of us that's involved, Ricky Caruth, Colton Lindsay, BC, Brian Casella.
That's what's, and here's the
Joshua
thing.
Smith is
Joshua Smith is going to, that's huge. That everybody, I'll just put it through this way, everybody that's at this event that's speaking is going back on Monday after they're done speaking and selling real estate. It is just so much different than most of the events, seminars, and all that. Well, he's accomplished enough, man. It's just, I mean, I have nothing against the Tom Ferrys or Mike Ferrys or Craig Proctors or all those people of the world. But these people are in the trenches at a very high level every day.
Here's why you want to get on the wait list. We are going to be doing a pre-launch event, all online. So it'll be everyone that's participating in this event. We're going to go online. We'll be holding an online summit that kind of gives a brief. It's going to be just the teaser, just the tip of what we're going to be able to do. We're allowed to say that here, right?
It shows off the rails every day.
So just the tip, and then you'll get the full-on show
in September. You can't get out of it. That's what we were talking about earlier. Like, sometimes you'll just say shit on camera.
So that will be in September, but get on that wait list now. We will drop that other link to get on the wait list down below.
Yeah, we'll put that in the group and in the page, obviously, where you guys are all watching this. So,
well, we appreciate everyone. Go ahead and sign up. Leave us some comments, and then
man, take us out, Derek.